It's me, Egbert, once again. I'm the new owner of this station. I went out and hired the best talk radio consultant, Jeff Allen from News Talk STL, and told him to hire the worst talent he could find. Jeff did exactly as I told him. Ladies and gentlemen, here are Brad and John.
John cannot faze me. John cannot say anything that will get me sidetracked. I have like this focus. I'm like Bill Clinton. I focus like a laser beam. And there's nothing that gets me off track. Right, John?
Yeah, and I'm going to do, I told a listener yesterday a listener texted me, and they shall remain anonymous, but there's somebody that we've talked about on the show before, Brad, and they said that their favorite part of the show this week was when I pointed out that in one conversation you interrupted yourself 4 times. And I said that I'm going to post a conversation map that shows one of your topics and the number of times that you interrupt yourself, Brad. Like, I don't even have to interrupt you because you interrupt yourself. But you have a laser focus today. And I don't mean the kind of laser that's going to fix your eye and then the doctor's going to say, OS, Brad's vision's F forever. Hey, maybe we could work on his metatarsal too, so he could be a gimp and have to take the elevator 1 floor up. But we're talking about a laser focus on the issues. Don't get distracted, Brad.
That's
Get right into it.
I'm going to work very hard, and I'm going to train my external occipital protuberance to stay on track and not kick my gluteus maximus. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, John, yesterday, were you involved in any of the flooding situations yesterday?
Yeah, I was. So I live on an artery, and I'm pretty private about stuff. I live on an artery, Brad, that is I went to pick up an offspring of mine. Who, Brad, we won't go into exquisite detail here, but you got a chance to meet yesterday.
I did. Very
and I went
attractive
to pick
young
up
lady.
offspring from a summer event, and my road, my major thoroughfare, was completely flooded, Brad. And cops had just pulled up, and so I had to find an alternate route, and it was a disaster.
Okay, now I'm going to say something that I guess, and don't think I'm a jerk for saying this, but
you are. But go ahead.
They have Dave Murray doing the forecasts on 97.1, okay? And I unfortunately had to make not one but 2 runs for someone in my family, and I probably put 130, 140 miles in my car just yesterday doing a Good Samaritan kind of thing for one of my family members. I won't get too much into it, okay? And I'm listening to Dave Murray as it's pouring down rain for the 3rd hour I'm out on the road. Dave Murray's saying, and there's a chance of some rain in the St. Louis area today. I'm going like, where does he live? The answer to the question is Palm Springs, California. Okay. Once again, for the past, I don't know, what's he been retired? 4 or 5 years now, something like that. When you hear Dave Murray.
You're kidding me. Does he really live out of town?
Didn't you know this?
No, I had no idea. No, I'm serious. I had no idea. He's doing the weather like remotely. He's doing the St. Louis weather remotely?
Yeah, he's lived in Palm Springs. When he retired, he already had a place in Palm Springs. He's lived there for like 4 or 5, however long he's retired. He lives in Palm Springs.
Wow, way to go, Dave Murray. Right. Okay, so maybe he doesn't really see that roads have been flooded for hours.
Well, now here's the interesting thing. Okay, I'll give him credit with the fact that meteorology has changed where on your laptop, on your iPhone, you can get all sorts. I mean, there's all these sites you can subscribe to where you can get the really hardcore meteorological data. And if you are a true meteorological or meteorologist, I mean, you can be you can be in South America and you can give the forecast for Poughkeepsie, New York, or
sure, I get it.
Pekin, Illinois, and the whole bit. But there's something about the fact that a guy who's telling you what the weather's going to be, who ain't here now, and once again, I know there's AccuWeather guys, and we have meteorologists on our station who aren't here in the St. Louis area, but just like you, when people hear Dave Murray, they think, oh, yeah, Dave, he's a local guy. He can stick his head out the window and go, oh, look at that, it's raining real hard. But he can't because he doesn't live here anymore. And somehow or another, maybe I'm just an old jerk, which is probably the way it is. I think that's sort of like deceiving the public, to be honest with you,
Yeah, I get what you're saying. And, the interesting thing and a great thing, I guess it's been this way for a while, but I know that some of the local news stations like a KMOX will retweet or share. For example, Amy Markscore's showed pictures of, she posted pictures of what Manchester Road looked like right at New Baldwin. And KMOX reshares those. So there's a local element of kind of crowdsourcing that stuff, I guess, which I guess I guess what I'm saying is that there's some stations that have done a good job of being super local about it. But your point, Brad, of it being kind of deceptive is,
Well,
I mean, she's not Jennifer Wyshitsky.
Well, no,
Like, we know that.
Amy Markscore works at KMOX.
I know.
Oh, but you were talking about like she was that they were using her pictures on KMOX's site, but she wasn't a part of the KMOX.
No, she is, as a host. I'm saying that her sister sent her a picture.
Oh,
she posted it on social media.
I did.
And KMOX retweeted Amy.
Yeah, but
Markscore.
that's a little bit different because, once again, Dave Murray, I don't think he has any relatives here. And look, I'm not trying to bust on Dave Murray because of the fact that, who taught me to read color radar weather?
I'm going to guess it's Dave Murray.
Dave Murray.
Wow, that was just a wild guess.
His my old boss, Ron Grubbs, hired him years ago. Once again, I look back on this and I work for a guy who, once again, it's one of these things where sometimes you're in the present tense and you look around and you go like, man, this guy's stupid. My boss is a jerk and he doesn't know crap and blah, 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 blah.
But then with the value of time.
Exactly. Ron Grubbs, we had this installed in our studio and we called it, and it was weird because color, we did it backwards. We did color weather radar. I can't remember, wherever the term was. We said it weirdly. And we had this installed in our studio. Now, once again, anybody with a phone now can pick up what?
But at the time, it was a big deal.
Right. 24 apps on their phone and watch the radar all over the country and all over the world for that matter. But at this point in time, this is going back like in the early 80s. Okay, this is going way, 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 way back. And to the point where, over 40 years ago. And I personally, this is like Mr. Brad the Nerddom, I personally installed the data line that went out to the Weather Bureau at the time, which was in St. Peter's. And if you know where the old Weather Bureau, the dome still sits there. And actually, it's literally a World War II surplus tower and a radar system.
Where is it? Where exactly is it?
Out in St. Peter's, right off of Mexico Road. Matter of fact, the city of St.
Like Mexico and what?
It would be between Cave Springs and Junkerman.
Oh, wow, really?
And it's a building. The Weather Bureau was there for a long time. Like I said, the tower and the radar dome is still there. The city of St. Peter's uses it for something, or one of their municipal garages or something like that. But I literally, because I was doing engineering at the time also for the station, I went and installed the data line and we had it in the studio. And it was very, very, very powerful to the point where still to this day, I grab my phone all the time and, I can, and nowadays most people can look at the radar. Oh, okay, I see the pink stuff, that's really nasty stuff. And the green stuff, that's not that bad. And, the colors in between. And most people can pick that up. But back in the day, it took Dave Murray coming in to say, because it was all new territory for us. And once again, he couldn't have been a nicer guy.
Now, as a weather guy, Brad, so I'll use a phrase incorrectly like knuckle-dragging troglodytes often do. It begs the question, which is the wrong use of that phrase. But, Brad, what weather app do you use on your phone?
I've got this thing called Climb, which CLIME. Are you familiar with this one?
Is it free?
Yes, it is.
Okay, that's all I need to know.
Right.
Go ahead.
Why do you say that?
Well, no, because I use First Alert 4. So a friend of mine put me on to – she suggested that I look at First Alert 4. And I have it on my phone. And I used to use like the standard iPhone weather app, which was horrible. It would tell me it was sunny in Cottleville and it would be a downpour. But the First Alert 4 thing has been really good, Brad. And you can do the, this would seem really elementary to you, but you have the weather radar and you can watch over 24 hours what's to be expected. I really like it.
Well, but once again, the point I'm making is that we hold in our hands literally incredible amount of information as far as the atmosphere, the meteorological, readings and things like that, which, you go back even 30 years ago, even 20 years ago, when you didn't have all the apps. I mean, go back to 2004. Most people, people go, what? An app? I mean, this is 2004 puts us before social media for the most part. I don't think, what's the year that the
Twitter came out around 07, it became popular in 08.
Right. And what was the year for the social network or whatever the movie about what's his face at Harvard?
I don't know. I didn't see it, but it was sometime around there, I guess.
By the way, going back to this, I always get a kick out of this. In that movie, they referred to the Winklevoss twins. You know who the Winklevoss twins are?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Well, it isn't, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, they were shown the other day as being major contributors to Trump, and I thought to myself, "Oh, the Winklevoss twins! I know who they are." I always get that's one of those names. I'm thinking to myself, if my name would have been Winklevoss, I'm thinking to myself, I think I would have been constantly kidded at school. Hey, it's the Winklevoss guy. How's your Winkle doing? You know?
Yeah, you would have changed your name to Vanilla Ice.
Either that or Hildebrand, one of the two, something like that. But look, I don't mean the diss on Dave Murray, but once again, you know, if you really want to have good forecasts, you get a company where there's somebody sitting in an office every day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, watching the weather, watching all the stuff. Not some guy who's, and it's going to sound like I'm beating up on Dave Murray, but gets up in the morning, knocks out a few forecasts, then it goes out and plays golf for 4 hours.
Yeah, and he goes on the Palm Springs Tramway, which is beautiful. You
Right.
know, take a look at the sights out there.
Have I dissed Dave Murray enough?
No, I think you gave him proper credit for teaching you how to read a color radar. Now, Brad, did you succeed in staying laser focused for that segment?
John, give me your ranking. What, you know?
I think so. If the topic was going to be Dave Murray, and I think you did a good job of staying on topic, Brad. Are we going to talk about how you're in the market for a brand new sign to put at the transmitters that says under new ownership?
See, this,
You know, if you go down Pittman Hill Road, Brad, right before you get 364, you know there's that area that big old place that does signs. They got all the signs. You know the place I'm talking about?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, so you could probably go there and see if you can get a good deal on under new ownership signs, right?
Stone signs. That's what the name of the
Stone signs.
Yeah, pretty good. Well, do you know what someone sent me yesterday?
I have no idea.
And-
Maybe was it a virus?
Okay, here we go. I'm going to mention a proper noun, and you're going to give me a number. You ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
Tracy.
93.3.
She's.
Is it? Oh, I know what it is. 666.
No,
That's
no,
what she wants to have tattooed on your forehead.
Yeah, me, the devil, right? She's moving.
Oh, wow.
They're
You mean like she's starting a workout program?
No, they're either buying or renting a used car lot in Wentzville. That's going to be their new location for the radio station.
Oh, instead of Chesterfield.
Right, they're moving out of Chesterfield.
Wow. Why are they leaving that Chesterfield? Now, they had that was their real estate office, right?
Yeah, and apparently this is going to be their radio station / real estate office as well, too.
Well, good for them.
Yeah, and maybe they're going to sell a couple used cars on the side, you know. And
Yeah, maybe they will.
which I think is sort of interesting. But anyway, that what's interesting was, and this is like my detective sources. A listener sent me these pictures and said, because of the fact that they were on Facebook and because you and I are both banned on her Facebook page, so we can't see this.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm not on Facebook, but I can't see her Instagram. Yeah, I'm blocked on Instagram.
Okay, so and do we block her, John? Do you block her?
Oh, of course not.
Yeah, neither do I. But so the interesting thing was someone sent me some pictures, and apparently she's crowing about the fact, hey, we're building our new place, and there's interior pictures, and then there's an exterior picture, and I thought to myself, I think I know where this is at from the exterior picture. And sure enough, I looked it up on Google Satellite View, and then I zoomed in and I went to Google Street View, and I go, that's it right there. So I have the address and the whole bit. It's on Veterans Memorial Parkway between Highway A and the 4061 interchange. It used to be a used car lot. As a matter of fact, I think it's between two other used car lots, which are still used car lots. So anyway.
Well, that's nice. Good for her.
Yeah, good for her. So that way when you and I are out in Wentzville, we can stop in and say, "Hey, Tracy, how you doing?" And
I'm out there on occasion.
She
yeah.
can-
like she wouldn't know who I am, so I don't think she would hold anything against me. So that's why I won't say that I'm friends with Brad Hildebrand.
John, you're wrong because of the fact that I do have friends that still work for her. And matter of fact, you are on one of her dartboards.
Oh, nice. I would love that. See, I'm used to being on voodoo dolls, but they're generally from girls in the 1990s, you know? I'm not used to being on dartboards.
One of these days, I'll tell my voodoo doll story, which I used one time on a sales call, believe it or not, to a very high power executive at WHO in Des Moines, which this guy ran the radio stations and TV stations.
And explain the power. They're like the KMOX of that area.
Yes, they are. As a matter of fact, they are probably in that area still very dominant, whereas, and I'm not trying to diss KMOX, but KMOX is not nearly as dominant as it once was. But WHO is still very dominant in the Des Moines.
Hey, Brad, let me tell you, in the old Monsanto days, this is my weekly Monsanto story. If I got something on WHO on a Tuesday, I'd pretty much take the rest of the week off.
Well,
because you know what? It was big enough that I was done with my job for the week.
Yes, and that is the power of that station, and especially in that area because of the fact that when you're in the middle of cornfields and hog farms all over the place, with Des Moines essentially sort of in the center of the state, and that's pretty much the only thing that's going on in Iowa. Well, there's a little bit in Council Bluffs, you like the dog tracks and things like that, and Ames is up to the north, and you got Iowa City. That's pretty much all there is in Iowa, and huge, like what you talked about, huge agricultural area, and WHO had a huge agricultural following. That's why when you said that, and which is true, if you got something on WHO, you scored brownie points for the Monsanto.
It was huge, yeah, big deal.
Right, and you got the Earned Media Award of
the Gold Star.
Right, the Gold Star for, hey, John Combest got a story about our product on WHO.
That's right, it was a BFD.
And who was the president of Monsanto at the time?
Hugh Grant, not to be confused with the Divine Brown fan Hugh Grant, but the different Hugh Grant.
And John's phone would ring, and John Combest? Yes, this is Hugh Grant. I want to give you an attaboy for you doing that great job. I'm getting one of our stories on WHO. Well, thank you, Mr. Grant. Keep up the good work, and we're watching you. We may want to promote you someday. We may want to promote you to not working for us anymore.
That ever-present brass ring, to quote Alanis Morissette, that dangling, ever-present, elusive brass ring, Brad.
So, John, how can I end this show by going off the deep end and talk about the story of when, if you watch Vanessa Carlton's video when she does 1,000 Miles Away, she actually is sitting on.
Well, we've already referenced one caterwaller. If we talk about Alanis Morissette, then I don't think we could talk about Vanessa Carlton. But I think you could lead us out with either an MEC drop. Or also, Brad, it's been nearly 6 days since you told your Bloody Brad Fish in the Ocean parable. So pick one of those.
I can have my pick. John, you're going to let me have my pick?
Yeah, you can have your pick. Bloody Brad.
How about if I pick the sloped roof thing? How about that?
Oh, yeah. Now, don't call me a slope head, but you could talk about a slope roof.
I don't even know where to start from all of the things that have been said that are just wrong.
How about that?
Apparently it was a popular decision.
And
as for you, smart guy. You're not Ric Flair.
Well, it's the same old story with this weasel, man. And you shall feel the pythons, brother. You shall feel the wrath of Hulkamania.
Not just they can do that on our airwaves, but that they can do that as one of us, as badge-carrying employees, as paid contributors to our sacred airwaves,
Say hello to oyster bunnies.
How's that? How did I end the show? Was that okay?
Brad is ahead in his way to Schnook, so if you're a Secretary of State candidate, call him. He'll give you 8.5 minutes in the car on the way to Schnook's. That's all you got.
314-280-8880. John, it's been a something or other today. I don't know exactly what it is.
Brad. It's always wonderful.
You're throwing up the Scott Drachnik things to me, so let's call him tomorrow and get him on the air. What do you think?
It'd be great. All right, we'll see you Thursday.
Thanks for checking out the Brad and John Show podcast. This segment of the show is brought to you by John Combest's book, Stalking, Harassment, Internet Trolling, A Guide to Recovering and Rebuilding After Online Attacks. It's a great reference if you've ever been the unfortunate target of a social media attack. It's available on Amazon. Just search John Combest. That's Combest, John Combest, and the book will show up in your search results. Now it's time for another segment of the Brad and John Show. Can you handle it?